Fighting games can sometimes be overwhelming with the amount of information on screen. Characters, health bars, special meters. Some games have more than 2 characters on screen at once. One of the reasons I never got into tag fighters is because of the mental stack. In traditional fighting games, I only gotta worry about one matchup at a time and the gimmicks that come with it. But tag fighters, you have to manage that for multiple characters, since they can swap in and out at any time. The counterplay can get really interesting. But the point is, in fighting games, it's tough to keep track of everything on screen at once. That's why bright visual cues are so useful. They help catch your attention even in your peripheral vision, letting you react without having to see every single detail. So you can only imagine what it's like when those cues are obscured or removed entirely. Suddenly, every move starts to feel like a mix-up. So today, we're going to look at how fighting games implement invisibility. And if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure to subscribe. It's ironic that Arxis made fun of how delayed Cyberpunk was, and now they have an Edge Runners character in their game. I wasn't sure how they would implement their first guest character, but honestly they did a pretty good job. Having Lucy hack into the game was a nice touch, and her moveset is pretty cool too, especially her special move, Quick Hack. This gives her access to a range of effects that cost RAM, and you can also pick the same one multiple times, extending its length. You can pick things like damage buffs, healing buffs, a forced counter hit, risk and tension nerfs, and finally an optics pacifier, which conceals everything except for her weapon, making it hard to decipher what she's doing. Now it's not a full-on disappearance, but the glitchiness plays into her whole hacking aesthetic, like she's literally glitching out your UI. What's interesting is that this super lets you continue the combo afterwards, like a Roman cancel would, so you can apply the effects immediately. But Lucy isn't the only character with something like this. I would say her form of invisibility is the easiest to deal with, because then you got Chip, who gets a high, a low, and a command grab, all with similar startup frames. So if you don't catch the beginning before he disappears, you gotta guess. Guessing in this game isn't so bad though, as long as you have meter. Roman cancelling a whiffed move makes it end faster, allowing you to either try again or get out of there completely. In Xrd, he had a move called Find Me, where he flashes in and out of invisibility for 8 seconds. The silver lining to all of this though is that even though he's invisible, you can still hit him out of the moves. You kinda have to predict it though. But you know what's even more annoying than that? This is how Slayer remains move. Like, he doesn't have a normal dash. And apart from all his pile bunker shenanigans, you gotta deal with this as well. Again, you can still hit him out of it, but if you get whiffed punish, you look so stupid, especially when he's phasing back and forth through you. Zato 1 can sort of do something similar mix-up wise. He doesn't necessarily go invisible, but he uses Eddie, well I guess Eddie uses him technically, to merge into the floor. Because you don't have a hitbox in this state, you can go back and forth underneath your opponent and bait which side you're coming out of, making it harder for your opponent to guess. One thing you do have to account for though, is the move's recovery. The longer you stay underneath, the longer your recovery will be. I feel like this is a move you would use after a knockdown anyways. Although Pet Shop gets most of the attention for being overpowered, there are other characters from JoJo's heritage for the future that can be just as annoying. For example, Kakyoin has arguably the best move in the entire game, Hierophant's Field. This lets him place an invisible net on stage, and depending on the button, it places either behind him, in front of him, or at his position. When placed, you can hold the button to delay its activation and release it whenever you want. 29 seconds is the limit though, and on top of that you can have up to 3 of them placed at once. However, they will disappear if the opponent techs or lands a throw, and they can be cut by stand attacks. But some character stands can't even do that. The really powerful thing about this move is its versatility. Defense, offensive pressure, combo starters, combo extenders, you name it. Getting hit by a net stuns you for over a second, which is plenty of time for him to convert that into a full combo. And just trying to block it forces you to take the mix. He has a lot of good normals to pressure you with. Speaking of his normals, they can be special cancelled into his net, so yeah, just expect that after every move. But what if there's no point of reference? No glitches, no bats or leaves, no nothing. Shadow from Spectral vs Generation can go completely invisible for 5 seconds. 5 seconds doesn't seem that long, but in a fighting game where level 3 supers can almost kill you in one shot, 5 seconds is a lot of time. Admittedly, from what I've found, using this super raw isn't that good. It can be interrupted pretty easily, but his long-range normals and projectiles allow him to outrange you. And the initial transition animation is invincible. You can't interrupt that animation. If you're somebody who likes to troll, I feel like this character's perfect. A zoner who turns invisible? Like, you could rage bait so easily. But this game has all sorts of oddities, which I guess makes sense for a standalone fighter from 2005 that was released on the PS2 with minimal online information. For example, the arcade version has its own training mode, which is pretty rare for an arcade fighter at that time. If you spent a coin, you got limited time to fight against a dummy character of your choosing. I don't think there were any advanced settings you can implement, at least from what I've tried to do. The dummy just auto-regenerates health when it fully depletes. Still pretty cool that they even have the mode anyway. There's also this universal mechanic in the game called Seal of Time, which works very similarly to a Roman cancel. You can spend 1 bar to slow down the opponent and continue the combo. Now, if you're wondering how I even found this game, someone in my Discord told me to check it out, and it's pretty interesting to be honest. And if you want to play it yourself with friends, it's on Fightcade, so you can check it out. Now, most of the characters I talked about don't really change anything about themselves in their invisibility state. They become harder to track, sure, but their toolset remains fundamentally the same. But X-23 from Marvel vs. Capcom 3 works a bit differently. She has a move called Silent Kill, which makes her invisible for 5 seconds. But unlike the others who are visible after getting hit, she only flickers and stays invisible until the duration is over. Silent Kill also gives her access to a follow-up that replaces her special button, a unique unblockable that only comes out while she's invisible. Because the attack is unblockable and not a throw, it can even be landed on an opponent who's already in block stun or hit stun, leading to inescapable setups with assists.
You're dead. Yes. Sorry. Oh, it's right. Dirt nap. I didn't even. Good game.
Completely forgot about that.
Sorry, bro.
No, there's no X Factor though.
Oh, you still
Still combo.
Yeah, dude. If he hits your second character,
Wow.
you're dead.
That's crazy.
If he hits your second character, you're dead.
This turns the invisibility gimmick into an actual win condition, making it the most practical use of invisibility on this list. I do want to give an honorable mention to the Mortal Kombat series. They've been messing with invincibility since the beginning. Obviously there's Reptile, where he was a hidden boss, but then became a playable character in Mortal Kombat 2. His invisibility actually doesn't have a timer. If you don't get hit, it just keeps going. It wasn't until Mortal Kombat 9 where it actually had a duration. It at least has more utility now. For example, in Mortal Kombat 1, you can use it for setups. There's also Smoke. In Mortal Kombat 3, Human Smoke didn't have invincibility, but Cyber Smoke did. It wasn't until Mortal Kombat 9 where Human Smoke gained invisibility as a buff tied to one of his moves. There's plenty of other characters I could have mentioned in this video, for example 12, one of the weakest characters in Street Fighter, and his invisibility is just as weak, it's basically cosmetic. His frame data is just horrible. I do like that they kind of made him an alternate random in Street Fighter 5. All around just an odd character to be honest. There's also Buzazima, the chameleon man hybrid from Bloody Roar. His invisibility is cool though. His beast form gives him access to a move that lets him turn fully or partially transparent for a short period of time. And since the game is 3D, it's even harder to predict. But honestly, with all the characters out there, it would just be more of the same. They would go invisible for a bit and come back to normal once the effect ends. So I wanted to focus on a few examples where invisibility had more to do with it. But if you think there were any characters that were missing in this list, let me know in the comments. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, join the Discord, check out my second channel, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.